Very nice.
Now this next card that we're doing was kind of like a special request that I had got from a dear friend of mine, Lynn.
What can I say? I liked the card.
I did too. So here it is. It's called the Retiform technique.
Cool.
Well, this one's upside down, but you can see it could go either way. And it's going to use 3 different inks: Mossy Meadow, Saharah Sand, and Cajun Craze. Oh my goodness, what was that? Alrighty, and it's going to have these 3 pieces of stuff for the inside. We have a white card base, Whisper White. We have a Whisper White front that has been marked with a grid for you, and I'll show you how to mark that. And then your Mossy Meadow layer for the front. This says happy birthday. This sentiment up here says to a friend that makes me smile. And then the inside is wishing you all the happiness you can imagine. So it's a fall birthday card. You can do this in other colors. And I made this card during the COVID lockdown, and I decided that I was going to try it also in some other ways. So I have it on screen share here. I'm going to share the picture of the one I made for Christmas. So you can see that come out in a different version. Okay, so this one I used, golly, that must have been Gorgeous Grape and Pacific Point, perhaps. Island Indigo, maybe. So you can see that you can change this, use the same technique. And I also used gold embossing in there over here and on the leaves up here. And then I just colored with markers in between the gold embossing. And I think behind the pine bough here, I really made this fancy. Has some embossing with glitter. So this ball has got some glitter on it, this ornament. So that's how you can do it differently. Let me show you how we're going to do this one. I'm going to put these over here for reference.
That was pretty.
Excuse me. So you'll need some kind of marking device. I'm going to use the as a guide. So this first line is marked at 1 inch. So I put it in here in my trimmer and just used the trimmer as a guide. Where's my pencil? There it is. I just ran my pencil right down in the place where the blade would travel. So that marks off 1 inch. And then you're going to move over to, let's see, this is like 2 7/8. No, pardon me, it's 2 3/8. So you would mark that there. Then you're going to turn this up. And the first marking is 1 5/8 here. And then you move it over to here, and it's actually 3.5 inches. exactly, right there. And you only, on these two, you only mark them down to that 1 inch line here. Now, these lines are not even going to show, so don't worry about having to erase them and whatnot. They really just get covered right up. But what you're going to need to complete that is either some Post-it note tape, some Post-it notes, and I have some big ones here that cover everything, or you could use the small ones, or you can buy the purple painter's tape from your Home Depot store. I'm going to use, this is Post-it note tape, and I'm taping off that 1 inch section so that we don't get any ink in there. And then I am going to tape off this other one right here. So you just have the center column. Now you can either put another piece of tape there, or you can just cover it over with, and I have this taped right down to my grid paper, or you just tape another piece of Post-it note over that like that. And you should probably use a fresh Post-it note for every time you do this, but sometimes if you get that extra sticky stuff, it lasts a little bit longer. So there's our first space that we have cordoned off for stamping. And I am using the different leaves from Forever Fern. So the first one we're using is actually a part of a fairly large stamp. This one here. We're only going to place a certain amount of it that will actually show up in our section there. Oh, and you are going to need some sponge daubers or blending brushes. Or a regular sponge, a piece of sponge cut. And when you stamp these, you want to press pretty hard so that your image comes up right next to your tape without a big gap. And I'm going to take the extra ink off of this stamp with my brush just to use it, because otherwise you'd be cleaning it off and throwing it away. And just like we do with sponge daubers, you want to start out and work your way in. And the idea with this is just to color up the outsides with a tint of color and maybe leave the inside a little white. You can do that however you like. That's all there is to that one. Then you take your Post-it note and you turn it over so that it covers the one you just did. And get a fresh one. We're down here. Cover the next one. The next one is going to be done in Mossy Meadow. You don't want to mix up your sponge daubers or your inks, because boy, those two colors blended together make mud, if you know what I mean. Okay, so I'm going to use this one here. Kind of looks like willow. I don't know what color. is definitely, this has a little bit of excess on the outside. I'm going to take off because I don't want halos. I did get a halo on the last one. All right, so we're going to stamp this leaf whatever way you like, right into that centerpiece. If it goes off the edge, that's fine. That's part of the look of the technique. And once again, I'm going to take the excess ink off of there with my blender brush. And I'll start out here and kind of, I'm going to kind of blush that square with, oh, it's a good thing I didn't go right into the square first. See, that's what happens. Try to, you see, this is where I actually went too dark on this one. This one actually has a halo in it, but I covered that up pretty good. You can't see that.
You couldn't see that.
All right, so that's enough on that one. The last one in this, oh no. It went down to the abyss. Last one in this column is Saharah sand. Now, I don't know if that shows up on the camera, but there's a tiny little area of color. So when I put this on here, I just leave that sliver of color so that when you're putting your blushes of color around there, that they actually meet up and don't leave a white spot. You can see how this particular one is lifting already, so that'll be time to use a new one. This is Saharah sand. I'm going to just stamp 2 leaves on there, kind of randomly, just like so. Take my blender brush and Saharah sand, some color up. And you just do this on every one of the squares. Got the first column completely done. So we're going to undo these, and I just knocked my blender brush on the floor. And I will use new Post-it notes on this one. And I'm going to take this off here. See how striking of a difference that makes already. And I'm going to put it over here and leaving that tiny titch of color so we don't have any gaps in color. And again, I'll put this one over here. That one was still fairly new. I like the bigger Post-it notes because it covers up the rest of the section. You don't have to put another one down here. All right, now this section is for the words. To a friend that makes me smile. The little curlicue on this stamp may get cut off depending on how you stamp it. But as long as you can read the rest of the words, that's just fine. I kind of have to stand up to do this one. The pressure. It's okay. It's a little crooked. Deal with it. I guess it looks more crooked than it really is because everything else is done on a square. We've got all these geometric lines and whatnot going on here. So that's that one. And then again, we're going to take this off and take a peek and turn it over, leaving that little sliver. One more piece down on the bottom. And this one is going to get Cajun Craze and this stamp that looks kind of like popcorn. Oh no, I don't know what kind of flower that is. Well, maybe it's eucalyptus. Not sure. Pretty round for eucalyptus, but
Maybe berries of some kind.
yeah,
I don't know.
not exactly sure. They look like leaves, but I'll have it coming off of this corner this time. There we are. I'm going to get the hairs off of my blender brush before I.
Like some kind of berries.
Yeah. Kind of fall berries, huh? Not sure. They're pretty.
Yeah.
And then we'll sponge in from the outside a little bit. Okay. That's the end of the use of the Cajun Craze. So that one can go down. We're done with Saharah sand. No, we're not. Almost. So then we have one more floral section to complete. And that's going to be the last leaves I have in the box. That's that set. Up to the pink. It's a good way to use up what you've spread out there. All right. That's good. Done with the green. Who's dinging? Maybe it's my phone. All right, so then we're going to pull these up. And I'm going to move this tape over here. This is the sentiment section. Oops. So we're going to put that in the Stamparatus where I have happy birthday. No, we don't need this because I'm here this time. Well, it's in here. Where I have the happy birthday mounted up. And we're going to use Saharah sand. I've got some Mossy Meadow on my finger. Okay. Good. off. Close that up now. And then I put this piece of tape back on here. So this procedure is a little bit it's a little bit longer than an ordinary card. So if you're planning on doing this, sure you have enough time. Of course, you could just leave it on your desk and come back to it, I suppose. I'm going to color in this area a little bit here. It looks weathered. Somebody put their dirty fingerprints on it. Okay. So that's the card front feature. And I do see I have a small problem with pencil here. So I will just erase it. Okay. And then I have a piece of linen thread that I have taken a Saharah sand marker to. You could just leave it the color that it was. It wouldn't make that much difference, really. You could also use, there's some Mossy Meadow woven ribbon in the woven trim. It's not really ribbon on the clearance rack if you're into getting something like that. I think it's like a 1/4 inch wide, so it would look nice on there too. And then you're going to take this up on the back and mount this on your Mossy Meadow piece. It starts to form that beautiful picture. You can also run this thread through Mossy Meadow as well. Don't necessarily have to do it in. I am going to take a glue dot, put it on the back of this bow, which I have put a small amount of clear drying glue on there so that the bow doesn't slide out, because this is not a fork bow. It just didn't look, I don't know, the fork bow tried to twist the tape, the ribbon on the back. There's the card front. Let's find the card inside, because we have to put a sentiment in there. Let's get rid of all of our sticky papers. Find the sentiment is on there, but the top is dirty, so I have to get that cleaned off before I stick my hand in it. This sentiment is going this way. Done. I'm pulling that one off.
Square that up, Robin.
Pardon?
Square it up.
Oh,
You're not square in the
I
corner.
see that. Thank you.
Oh, rats.
Smudgy. Give it another one.
Sorry.
Where I
I just figured if it wasn't squared up, then the sentiment would be crooked. So,
Yeah, I'm gonna just turn that around and put the smudge under the front piece that we're,
well, that makes sense.
and that'll be the front of the card, so we'll turn it this way. There we go. You're absolutely right. It's stuff that I don't, when I'm in a hurry, that I don't pay attention to too much. Smudge any more of
What
them.
did you say the sentiments came out of? Are they the same set?
This particular sentiment is from Happiness Abounds,
Okay.
and so is the Happy Birthday. And the one that's on the front up here in the corner, that actually comes out of the Forever Fern stamp set. All right, so let's cover up the smudges here. There you go.
Nice.
This would make a nice sympathy too. You could put with sympathy over here. Of course, you want to change to a friend that makes me smile, maybe.
Right.
But anyway, there's the three I made this today and yesterday. Right.